Hello everybody, welcome back to Why You're Bad at Cardistry. Today we will be reviewing our first piece of real solid cardistry theory that I call the planar concept, as in a plane of geometry, I guess, planar. As you might be able to tell by my sweater, I'm actually recording this on the same day that I recorded Why You're Bad at Cardistry 2, Combos and Linking, even though this video might not be up on the same day because my upload speed is incredibly bad. It took more than 2.5 hours to upload the Combos and Linking video, which was only 12 minutes long. So this video will be a little shorter. So, what is the planar concept? Well, first you must understand what a plane is, and that's pretty simple. In geometry, a plane exists when you have 3 or more points on a coordinate grid. In cardistry, your plane is a playing card, or a packet. As you can tell, it is sort of like, imagine it being infinitely flat, it is sort of like a plane, a single card. You can move it in any which way. It can go side to side, forward and back, and up and down. The 3 dimensions of movement. With cardistry, you even get to rotate your planes and move them in cool and unique ways. You can make a packet travel through multiple planes at once through something like a biddle flip. In that instance, it starts off like this, and then hinges around a point. Such forms concepts like hinging, which a lot of cardists may base their moves around. So, and that brings me to cardistry's planar concept, where you see moves rather than a collection of mechanics and movements, but it's just one way to see moves as a set of planes and how they move relative to each other. So this video, because it's about theory, is not necessarily about building good habits. Like everything in cardistry, it is heavily subjective, and this is just one way that you can look at moves that might give you a new perspective. So let's take a look at everyone's favorite two-handed cut, 5 Faces of Sybil. So the Sybil cut is a good way to demonstrate the planar concept because it only occurs on one plane in general. Of course, unless your hands are robotic, you will not be keeping every single packet on the same plane. But as you can see during the Sybil cut, all of the packets are parallel to each other on all sides and are constantly facing the same direction. If, for example, you did something like tailor-made, now you have 2 planes, one for this bottom packet and 2 for these packets, which are on their own plane, these 2, which are on their own plane if you do it like this, and you enter a third plane if you do that. Because you've made now 3 distinct separate planes. And the reason that the first one is only 2 planes is because if you see this without the packet, this is 2 planes, right? 2 distinct packets. If you break this off, you're not really breaking it off far enough that most people would say you're forming a third plane. So, and then again, there are multiple ways to view a plane. Just like everything, it's still subjective. This structure could have a plane formed on the same level as this packet, for example, going from here to here, and that's your plane. Or you could say the plane is on the edges of the packets, and that's that sort of plane. Really, there are multiple ways to go about it. You might see a move that, for example, something where 2 packets are held like this next to each other. You might not see that now as 2 packets, but rather one plane. You might see packets hinging and swinging and moving around each other as though they were just geometrical planes and not just little packs of cards. And this is a great way to view a move because then again, you can boil it down to certain concepts. Like I said, hinging is one of them. When you might do something like this, that's 2 planes hinging. Now you might think of it, that's a rotation, kind of. Doing something like at the end of Pincho, when you want to rotate it back in, that's a rotation. You can have rotations on multiple axes, like at the end of TaylorMade, like that packet movement. And basically, this is not really, oh, you have to do this right or you must do it this way. This is just one perspective that you may not have learned to consider that can really open up your eyes. And that is seeing moves as a collection of geometrical planes, the planar concept. So I know this video was shorter. Again, the link to all the possible future topics will be linked in the description. Oh, and one more thing. The planar concept can tell you how to keep moves clean, so maybe there is an objective element to this. Generally, you want to reduce a move to the fewest amount of possible planes. And the thing is, you can't reduce a move down to too few planes, right? Because because planes are made of packets, even though the planar concept kind of ignores packets, the maximum number of planes in a move is equal to the number of packets in that move, if you're counting single cards as packets, which I do. So if you have 4 packets, unless you're breaking off a 5th one, or bending a packet, which I'm not really considering because, let's be real, there are like 2 people who do that good enough for it to matter, your move is only going to have 4 planes. If you have 5 packets, it's 5, and you can take 5 and reduce it down to 3 planes. So at any point in your move, most people would recommend that you keep the amount of planes visible as few as possible. For example, let's check out the Sybil cut again. You can put the Sybil cut into multiple planes, even though I showed that at its most basic form, the Sybil cut will only occupy in 1 plane, no matter how you slice it. So, take an example like this. You break into a Z grip and immediately turn it outwards like this. This is a thing that you can do. Some moves require that you do it. And you can continue doing Sybil cut. Sorry. You can continue doing Sybil cut. And I'm not even holding the 5th pack right now, but during the display, you can kind of open it up like this. And this opens up like 4 planes, the maximum number you could have with this amount of packets. But generally, in that instance, it looked all right. But generally, you'd see that even in that instance, it isolated the base packet, which makes the base packet issue, which is something I'll talk about later in another video, even worse. So basically, you want to reduce the move down to the fewest number of planes at any point, which keeps it nice and compact, keeps it looking clean, and is generally what most people would prefer. Again, this is not objective. This is just an interpretation of the planar concept, of which you can make your own. You can interpret this in any way you'd like. This is just one basic interpretation that I'd give as a possible example for how you would use the planar concept to develop your own style of cardistry and your own good moves. Thank you all for watching. Of course, if you liked it, tell me on Discord or in the comments. There will be a link in the description to the document for future topics of this. And yeah, see you all in the next one.